Please welcome Molly McLay.
A mentor of mine once told me, teaching isn't a job, it's a vocation. You have to be called to it. I didn't really understand what he meant. At the time, I was studying to be a high school English teacher. I had a vague sense that I could be a teacher, and I did love English. I just didn't really feel called to it. Nowadays, things are a little different. I coordinate the first-year campus acquaintance rape education, or FICARE program, at the University of Illinois, where over 100 undergraduate peer facilitators, some of whom are here, lead workshops about sexual violence for more than 8,000 students each year. Huge undertaking. FICARE facilitators are well-versed in topics such as consent, coercion, bystander intervention, and how to support survivors. They can rattle off statistics like it's nobody's business, like the fact that 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 men will experience an actual or attempted sexual assault at some point during college. But I'm not here to talk about rape statistics. I'm here to talk about why I love my job. We train facilitators through a semester-long discussion course called Community Health 199B, or the CARE class. Of course, someone has to teach the teachers. So, how did this once ambivalent teacher in training finally find a vocation? I guess I could ask the same of the hundreds of FICARE facilitators that span the almost 20 years of this incredible program. The truth is, something happens in that classroom beyond learning to facilitate these workshops. We are compelled to notice a world that perpetuates not only gender-based violence, but all systems of oppression that interlink and uphold one another. It's in the images we see, the language we hear, how we look away when we think it's not our business to intervene. So many of us carry invisible burdens, traumas that no one else sees. Our class opens a space where those burdens are no longer ignored or silenced. The content of the CARE class is everywhere, and we learn to see it together. Talking about this stuff is hard. It's saddening, infuriating, frustrating, but it can also be empowering, positive, and sometimes even fun. Learning about sexual violence in a community of peers that support one another is transformative for all of us, even me, especially me. So, we created a hashtag, FICAREFeels. We mark those moments where we teach each other, grow together, even show love for one another. The first FICAREFeel preceded the hashtag as a poem I wrote for my students. I guess it's how I knew I had found a vocation rather than a job. Here is what it means to care. It might be a glance out my window at the shimmering, shining woman face on a billboard, smiling sexy through her sadness, but it's not sex, and I know it now. It might be hearing all the when, where, why, how, what. Were you drinking? Do you know for sure? Were you alone late at night? A nice guy. I just can't believe it. Believe it. It might be asking, is a nice guy when being nice entitles one to a prize? As though the friend zone is a war zone or a white padded room. It might be thinking, will today be the day I get that hotline call I freeze on? That student saying, I need to talk. That light bulb flickering in my head. I can call this rape what happened to my classmate. I can call this rape what happened to my roommate. I can call this rape what they did to my friend, and that person I just met talking about my job at a restaurant, and my friend. And how many more people am I going to realize were survivors that I overlooked? And might be thinking 80% or more of us who are raped will be violated by someone we know. And who should I start to wonder about in my life? And how many more days can I go before I am too afraid not to take self-defense? And why did so many people I care about go through this? And why do I have to hear about blurred lines in every goddamn popular song? And why in the hell do I have to sit here and say a no is a no over and over? Who went around telling you otherwise? What? The word consent is not in your vocabulary? It might be thinking that one more cruel process, one more deer in the headlights look, one more time of having to tell the story with no fucking results might tip us from a culture of silence to completely numb. Each one a reason to give up. I curl up in my easy chair and I think Maybe I don't have to give up today and face another day of rape culture slapping in the face those of us who've got our eyes open. Maybe today I will turn my eyes downward, look the other way, pretend I didn't hear that rape joke, go ahead and let myself think, it's just humor. Why you gotta take everything so seriously? Maybe I'll just not see it the way I used to. But then I open my eyes and look out, and 48 of you sit side by side, row by row, bringing reinforcement, looking at each other, saying, hey, we got this. You're not alone in this fight. I can't predict if I'll be smiling or crying when I read this part, but I think, where and how did you learn to care, and what happened to the rest of us? And the task at hand veers back hard into my consciousness, and I remember rape culture is a culture, not a war, and it won't surrender to weapons or violence, but to words and gestures and kindness and eye contact and empathy and hope and love. I can't have any of that without you. These concepts only work when shared. And you 48 stand up, and behind you, you see are 33 more, 59 more behind them, 39 more, 49 more. And each semester we build our artillery of care, and we won't stop until rape culture is poof, gone, extinct. And yes, I know I'm a fool, but I've got to be. If not me, if not you, then who? Rape will remain if we believe it will. So I will stand here, wobbling but still strong, even when every day there is someone else rendered less than human by a person and a world that should know better. I will stand here and say, rape will end in my lifetime, rape will end in my lifetime, and I will keep shouting. And I ask you to stand with me. Show me what it means to care. Thank you.